Everyone is so deeply pained by the recent terror attack in Mumbai. I have two questions regarding this. What's the right approach to enjoying life when there's such devastating suffering? When I rock my 2-year-old at bedtime, I can't hold back the tears. When I try to enjoy the feeling of motherhood and thank Hashem for my family, it feels more bitter than sweet. We're planning on building a new house, and I'm almost repulsed by it now. Another question about this is, Klal Yisrael has been in exile, suffering for so long. I feel that no matter how much I beg Hashem to end this galut, it feels so futile, like a teardrop in the ocean. So the first thing I want to say is, I think that the question itself is beautiful and sensitive, and takes us to where we should be. So, of course you're pained, but how could you not be pained by it? It was so horrific. However, having said that, it says about how things will be when the exile ends, and this really doesn't, and it answers both of your questions. Hayinu kecholmim, we were like dreamers. So the simple meaning of that is that the redemption will be so out of sight wonderful that it seems like a marvelous dream. But at a deeper level, it means that exile was like a dream. It was unreal. So a dream is meant to be interpreted. And the way you interpret it, that's how it happens. Meaning a dream is either your subconscious or even from a higher place, from your neshama, a message to you about you. And how you interpret that message is how it should be interpreted. If you give it a positive interpretation, that's how it'll be. So one of the things that we have to do is, when we're caught up in this nightmare, to give it a positive interpretation. So at the funeral, I don't know if you saw the funeral or not. It was on internet. I was actually there, but you might have seen it even abroad. I was very moved by the father's hesped. He understood this. He understood that there has to be positive interpretation, that we have to be moved forward by it. We have to recognize that the depth of the pain is caused by the sweetness and goodness of the lives of the people who were lost, and we have to make their lives our lives. So when you look at the Holtzbergs, and I don't know enough about the other people to say so much. The Levayat that I was at was the Holtzbergs, because the others took place in the morning when I teach. They were like Avram and Sarah. They were as close as you get to that degem as one gets in the 21st century. And we aren't meant not to mourn what was lost, but we are meant to recognize that the reason that the pain is so great is because the beauty is so awesome. The beauty of the lives that were lost. And when we look at all of the heroes in the story, the Holtzbergs, the other people as well who are holy people, and even the nanny who saved Maishala, who I think he captured everybody's heart. There's something about that we learn. We have to learn to resolve, as the grandfather said at the funeral, that he's going to raise this child to grow to be a shaliach, to make Chabad house in Mumbai in his time. So we have to be moved forward. And I don't know if you listen to the Kohelet shiur, but that's one of the messages in Kohelet. It's better to be in a house of mourning than it is to be at a celebration, because it tells us who we could be and what we have to aspire to be. So mourning the exile isn't enough, as Rav Grossman said at the funeral. He said, yes, accepting that this is a kapara is very important, but we have to move beyond that and say, well, what's it mechaper on? And we have to take on ourselves to be imitative of the extraordinary love of every Jew that these people had, and bring it into our lives and get rid of all of the sectarianism and the nonsense. We have a lot to do. We have to move towards there, because that's the only place where there's any comfort while we're still in exile. And, okay. Next question. Okay. Whenever I'm in a shiur and the topic of Mashiach is brought up in connection to the speech, the consistent theme or description of the time of Mashiach is one of fear, pain, confusion, and untold destruction. Oh my goodness. So at first is really, how do I genuinely anticipate Mashiach with all my heart? Well, it seems that the circumstances surrounding his arrival seem so grim and frightening. The second half of my question involves a speech that I heard last night. The speaker repeated the name of Rav Weinberg, quoting Rav Elyashiv, saying that our community is facing a time of imminent and extreme danger, worse than the darkest times of Hitler, Yamach Shemam. She said that Rav Weinberg impressed upon her the need to repeat this. This just plain terrified me. As the mother of 4 very young children, the comparison of times is incomprehensible. What was I wondering is, should my response to this be, what are the Gedolim suggesting? The speaker said that Rav Weinberg said to warn the people, but is there something practical we could do to perhaps ensure protection, a specific mitzvah we should enhance in order to be zoche for the safety of Am Yisrael?